in the course of our practicing mains answers, the objective here is to obtain a precise knowledge and information regarding how to structure the question and how to build the answer and how to creatively use the concepts in writing the mains answers. Okay. So, in that dimension we are taking this question to discuss, that is the office of the speaker. Okay. Basically, the office of the speaker is the most controversial office in the present times, particularly after the enactment of the Anti-Defection Act of 1985, right? Because speakers are behaving in a partisan manner. In fact, speaker is supposed to be the custodian, guardian of parliamentary practices. Okay. Speaker needs to uphold the supremacy of house, dignity of the house. Okay, right? Speaker is required to promote the parliamentary conventions and also constitution within the house. But unfortunately, speaker is not able to discharge these functions effectively, right? Why speaker is not able to discharge? Because we are able to see how the political dimensions are evolving. So, you must see, in the present times there is a problem in the parliamentary form of democracy, particularly in India, is the speaker office usually, so speaker is chosen usually in the consensus manner, on the basis of consensus. But what is happening present day is, if you try to look at the recent election of the speaker was elected on the basis of partisan manner. What is the meaning of partisan manner? Speaker is elected due to the voting system, right? Both opposition party and ruling party fielding their candidates, and one candidate will be elected. So, that is how the partisan elections have come to the picture. You must understand, speaker in India is supposed to be the custodian and guardian of the house. He must be non-partisan. He must be able to uphold the bipartisanship in the house. What is it? Bipartisan, right? It means he shall not be favoring neither of the two parties. So, that approach is expected on part of speaker. But what is reality? The reality is speaker is behaving in the partisan manner, because election is also conducted in the same manner. Usually speaker shall not be contested office. Okay. Speaker office should be chosen on the basis of consensus between ruling party and opposition party. Apart from that, in order to balance the house, okay, there is a convention evolved where the deputy speaker must be hailing from the opposition party, so that you are able to maintain a balance in the house with respect to the conduct of the business. But unfortunately, that is not being done. Okay, right. And moreover, speaker's role in the Anti-Defection Act is also becoming so controversial. Why? Because speaker is not taking the decision effectively. Okay, he is taking the decisions in the delayed manner. Speaker is always under the wheel of suspicion, right, whether he is able to take the decision objectively or not. So, there are many challenges pertaining to the office of speaker. So, in that regard, the question is asked in the UPSC, right, once a speaker, always a speaker, because this question is nothing but it is a comparison of constitutions. Indian constitution is compared with the UK's constitution. On the basis of that, the question is asked, right, once a speaker is always a speaker. So, this is the convention that has been adapted in the UK, where speaker is not an elected office. Once a person is appointed as speaker, he will be speaker for lifetime. He will be elected uncontested to the house. Okay, he is chosen uncontested to the house, and moreover, Once he becomes a member, definitely he will become the Speaker of the House, right? That is what called as once a speaker, always a speaker. So the examiner asks us to write about the implications if that convention is adapted into India. So what are the possible consequences with respect to the Indian political system? Will it be better in the parliamentary form of democracy and parliamentary business in the country? Look at this question. Once a speaker, always a speaker. Do you think the practice should be adapted to impart objectivity to the office of Speaker of Lok Sabha? What could be its implication for the robust functioning of parliamentary business in India? Robust functioning of parliamentary business in India. So this is how the question is asked, right? So first of all, what we should write? Okay, we should write about the context of this question. Okay, so the context here, the introduction, how the introduction should be, right? In the introduction, we need to write in UK. Okay. UK, the Speaker of House of Commons is usually unelected and that means does not require to contest in the elections and till he resigns. Okay. Which is followed in the form of convention. In UK, the Speaker of House of Commons is usually does not require to contest in elections and he will be the Speaker forever till he resigns, which is followed in the form of convention. Okay. So, right, this is how we can write the introduction, right. Then what is the next dimension? Do you think this practice should be adapted to impart objectivity to the office of Speaker of Lok Sabha? Okay, right. So, the implications. So, question is, do you think practice should be adapted to impart objectivity in the functioning of Lok Sabha Speaker? This practice makes the Speaker's office truly independent and impartial. Truly independent and impartial. Okay. The Speaker's office needs to be independent, considering the requirement of Article 75 Class 3, right, which says Prime Minister and Council of Ministers collectively responsible to Lok Sabha, collectively responsible to Lok Sabha, right? Which means only when Speaker's office is independent and impartial, okay, then only the objective of Article 75 Class 3 will be fulfilled. Did you understand? Particularly after Anti-Defection Act came into force, Speaker has gotten quasi-judicial power, which requires to be exercised in non-partisan manner. Did you understand? In this context, the Speaker's office faces the allegations of bias and political favoritism. Okay. Due to this reason, there is a suggestion, or there is a recommendation, we can say, to follow the Convention of UK. The Convention of UK, right? This is what the aspect, okay? Okay. So, should it be, see, how does it, so, it infuses objectivity in Lok Sabha's Speaker's office due to Lok Sabha Speaker's office due to first one, okay, he is immune from party dynamics, okay. Hence, he will be able to perform his functions, outside the party politics, okay. There will be a chance to facilitate or accommodate the voice of opposition parties parties. There will be a chance to facilitate or accommodate the voice of opposition parties in the course of parliamentary proceedings. Okay. It will facilitate the fear of it will facilitate the speaker to gain confidence of his future membership without compromising his autonomy. Okay. Thus, he takes objective decisions with respect to certain key decisions. Okay, like adjournment, okay, rulings, okay, and facilitating debates on public matters. Okay, and preventing the executive from violating parliamentary practices. It may reduce or prevent the instances of ordinary bill, ordinary or financial bill to be introduced as money bill. Okay. It improves his image, prestige, and authority among the members. Thus, it may also reduce the disruptions in the house, right? So this is how we can explain how the speaker's office will become objective. Okay, what could be implications for the robust functioning of parliamentary business in India? Okay, right. So it improves objectivity. Okay, and then what are the implications? Okay, what are the implications. Okay. So first one, positive implications. Okay. It improves public confidence over the legislature. Okay. And the accountability of executive to legislature will be more realistic. Okay. Okay. Next important thing is it could protect the legislative position from the usurpation of power by executive. Example, the frequent resort to ordinance may be reduced, because government requires to give reasoning and the government requires to give explanation, so that can be more realistic when speaker is independent. Okay, right. The parliamentary committees can function more effectively without affected by the shadow of politics. Okay, like this there are various implications. That means in terms of their appointment, like appointment, secretarial assistance, okay, and the the reports submission and their disclosure to the public, these will all be improved. So like this there are different positive implications. Okay, right. Speaker will be able to preserve and follow the parliamentary conventions. So like this we are able to give various positive implications if the speaker's office is made reformed on the lines of the UK. Okay, right. But on the other hand there are various challenges with this idea, right? Because but what are the challenges, or we can say negatives? Okay, Indian society is heterogeneous. Okay, and any fixed nature of appointment of speaker may may compromise the plurality in democracy. Right? You cannot expect the speaker to be the same person every time, because society is heterogeneous. Definitely that heterogeneity must be reflected in the appointment of the speaker or election of the speaker. Okay, right? It must not be given any kind of permanent the permanent character, because permanent character is dangerous to the Indian conditions, right? So the very belief of the constitution makers is nothing, no office shall become permanent. For example, if we try to look at this convention, for instance, Indian president election is being restricted to just one term, okay. So that is how this is a convention. Of course, Article 57 facilitates the re-election of the president every time, but this is being restricted, okay, because considering the heterogeneous character of the Indian society, okay. And next important thing is, in UK there is bipartisanship, that is two-party system. Okay, two-party system. Hence, it is the convention evolved in the UK's context. And in UK you don't find this kind of heterogeneity, diversity and other reasons, okay. And in UK it is suitable because there is a bipartisan, that is two-party system, right. Next, in India the responsibility to the electorate is very important, okay, which will be compromised since the nomination of speaker, or we can say permanence of speaker, can make the office insensitive towards public opinion, right. Not only that, every constitutional office should have checks and balances on equal terms, okay. The compromise of which may create a new set of problems. Okay, right. Moreover, the convention in UK did not come into operation not just in a single day, not just in a single day. It has been evolved gradually since 1688. Okay. Hence, sudden adoption may not bring the same benefits in India. Okay. The first speaker of Lok Sabha, G.V. Maulankar, tried to establish this practice into India, but it was not, it did not gain. It did not gain political consensus. Political consensus. Right? This is what. Then we need to write the way forward then. So right, instead of transplanting UK's practice in India, we can follow certain good practices. Right, first one, speaker should be a person of high political standards. Okay, or he can be a senior politician. Okay, and chosen on the basis of on the basis of consensus. Okay, similarly, the Anti-Defection Act must be given to President to be the power under Anti-Defection Act must be given to President to be exercised on the recommendation of Election Commission of India. The speaker should refrain from party politics. Right? The speaker's office should not be politicized. which means the members should refrain from such conduct which will degrade the speaker's position. Okay, that means better conduct from the members is expected. Okay, right. So these are the few practices which can make the speaker's office to be more independent and autonomous. Okay, so this is how we need to write answer. Okay, right. So it is a lengthy answer because it is a 15 marker question. So we need to write every dimension of this answer. Okay, so that's why it has taken a lot of what is that space. So answer must be evolved only in the natural manner. We cannot by heart the things and you cannot write the answer. We need to be very much proper with the concept. Okay, automatically you are able to write different dimensions of this answer. Okay, I hope the things are very clear for you. So let us meet with another question tomorrow. Thank you.
అక్కడ సేవ్ చేంజెస్ అని కొట్టకుండా నో అని కొట్టేస్తే సేవ్ కాదా?
సేవ్ కాదు.
మరి అక్కడ మనం సేవ్ చేస్తున్నామా సార్ క్లాస్ చెప్పేదాన్ని?
చేస్తాను.
సార్ చేయమన్నాడుగా.
ఇప్పుడు
డే 1 చెప్పిండు.
ఇది
అక్కడ క్లాస్ ఉంది.
అవి ఆ క్లాసులు ఏమన్నా తర్వాత ఏమని చెప్పలే కదా. ఇది
అన్ని క్లాసెస్ చెప్పిండు. నోట్స్ ప్రిపేర్ చేస్తా అని చెప్పలేదా మనకు?